I'd now like to move on to the theme of this year's conference, GIS, Interconnecting Our World. What I mean by this is interconnecting people and organizations and activities and sciences, interconnecting our information through the power of geography, interconnecting our technologies. And we're not simply talking about interconnecting, we're talking about integrating and therefore transforming everything through this powerful word, creating understanding. And from my perspective, so many of you are doing this. So many of you were attracted to it when you first came in touch with it. You saw right away how it could bring things together. And I don't know, I still get excited about it today in the same way I did so many years ago. Now, the world that you and I live in is a living system. We can start by really thinking about the complexity and the dynamic nature of it, how in all of its subsystems it is interconnected. And of course, it's fundamental for our lives, human life, and it's also a fundamental component of all life. And it's changing. It's been changing for millions of years, of course, but more recently it's changing rapidly. Our world today is in trouble. It's safe to say that what we've done with environmental degradation and the issues of social instability are creating a bit of uncertainty for you and me. And as a matter of fact, when you look at any one of these, it's pretty overwhelming. But when you realize that they're all interconnected, climate change, natural disasters, loss of nature, the population overpopulating our world, these are troubling. It's troubling to us. And addressing these issues is going to be challenging for you and me, actually, for the rest of our lives. Addressing these or overcoming these challenges fundamentally requires better understanding and communication. It requires collaboration. It will require our best science, ladies and gentlemen. It'll require our best technology, one of the reasons why we're here today, and also our best critical design thinking and problem-solving capabilities as humans. And here, geography, our science, GIS, the technology, and you, the geospatial community, will be essential in creating what I guess I would describe as a geospatially literate society going forth. Geography, the science of our world, provides a way to organize all of our knowledge. It helps us actually interconnect our different sciences and our different disciplines. You're living evidence of that because you do it. GIS provides the actual tools or technology for abstracting geography and also the language of organizing and applying the resulting geographic knowledge that you create, bringing together virtually all types of content and analytics, connecting us, modeling, visualizing our world. And it's also a platform fundamentally for understanding and then intelligent action. This is what you do, ladies and gentlemen. GIS is organizing our world's geographic knowledge. It starts with that. It's creating building blocks of shared understanding through the data knowledge, through data models that organize it, through analytic process models and interpretive models. It's a kind of knowledge. Through the maps and how we visualize our world, that's a kind of knowledge. Through the stories that we tell, now enhanced with digital story maps. Through the reports, the infographics, the dashboards that we create, and of course, the workflows themselves. These building blocks, as I watch them emerge in an abstract way, are transforming how we see the world. And GIS, our familiar 6-step components here, provide us a process and a framework for not only creating this knowledge through measurements and so on, but also applying it widely, applying geographic knowledge widely. We measure, we visualize. And when you look at each of your work efforts around the world, you are doing this. Some of you are measuring more than planning. Some of you are planning more than measuring. But as we look at our community, all of these are interconnected. And as my best friend suggests often, understanding precedes action. Ladies and gentlemen, you are linking science and rational thinking in our best analytics to action. And the COVID world illustrates that as best as any other that I have to share. Now, GIS professionals are doing this. They're applying the science of geography more or less everywhere. That's your job. You're creating many independent and focused systems and projects. And increasingly, you're sharing your data and apps and sharing geographic knowledge, these components. And due to the amazing technologies of the web, these are becoming interconnected. You are building a kind of socially accessible infrastructure. Sometimes it's not accessible to everyone, but it certainly is accessible to yourselves. And it's opening many new opportunities for collaborative action. Now, this geospatial infrastructure, a term that I'm very fond of, is about building modern GIS implementation patterns, leveraging services-based architecture and GIS portals. It actually engages everyone, individuals and teams and departments and organizations, and now it's extending out to communities. It's about sharing and collaborating. And back to the theme of our conference, interconnecting everything. Geospatial infrastructure is transforming organizations. And watching you sort of on the front row embrace and integrate new technologies is just amazing. I mean, you are moving into cloud computing. You're embracing advanced analytics, AI and machine learning. You're bringing in real-time data. You're sharing your services. You're publishing information through apps. And you're integrating all aspects of your organizations. Okay, not everybody's doing this. Not everybody's doing it at the same pace. But watching it, as I do, from afar and sometimes right up front, all of these things are working together to advance what your work is all about. You are integrating every type and format of data and making them directly available as services. Tabular data, unstructured data, real-time data, vector data, raster data, imagery data, and making it available as ready-to-use information in the form of web maps and layers and 3D data. It's bringing together your information, the world's information, as geospatial infrastructure. And this infrastructure is emerging really rapidly. I'm privileged to see it. Individual systems are beginning to link together and share their data, interconnecting and bringing in services from external sources, like simply ArcGIS Online. Its base maps are an example of it, but geocoding, spatial analytics, and the ecosystem of distributed services being brought together to empower your systems is not only helping you enrich your work, but it's also bringing together people to collaborate and use your information in new and important ways. And listen, this isn't some Jack's vision idea. No. Organizations around the world are increasingly doing it. For example, Pacific Gas and Electric in Northern California, one of the largest utilities in the world, is now sharing their outage information and emergency information with the state of California, the California Public Utility Commission. And in turn, they're sharing information about fires and addressing emergencies that are underway. In Southern California, the Southern California Association of Governments is bringing governments together, much like York is in the lower right, to create better plans. And the Census Bureau in the U.S. is working collaboratively through services with state and local information to address, well, mutual problems. collaborating. And that's resulting in saving money and time and being more responsive. GIS itself is advancing, and we're going to spend the next couple of days looking at some of these amazing things that are occurring. In the spatial modeling and analytics area, it's advancing science, and it's creating whole new insights. Look at these examples in big data in real time, looking at multi-dimension data with voxels, looking at object detection off of AI and machine learning, and remotely sensed data coming from many sources. These are integrating and assisting people by leveraging the latest technology and being open to the whole world of open data science and new tools that are emerging in the community. Apps are also a huge advancing technology. They're actually providing a kind of frictionless access to our infrastructure. Pervasive web mapping, like the Johns Hopkins demonstration just well shows. Mapping of all kinds. Billions and billions of maps are being produced and made available every day. And there's occurring massive mobile deployments using things like our collector and Survey 123. But that's just the beginning, as you'll see over the next couple of days. It's opening access to the infrastructure to everyone, to citizens, to developers, to other IT organizations, etc. These maps and dashboards are particularly interesting to me because they are just opening up the world's eyes, as we talked about with the Johns Hopkins information. It's changing the way people see things, the way people understand things, the way policy people act on things. It's helping tell the stories that are important to people so they understand. Your work is so critical to create a more understanding and collaborative world. These capabilities are becoming embedded now and the result is geospatially enabling all kinds of enterprise workflows. We've been working collaboratively with virtually all the large IT organizations to embed GIS componentry or services into standardized workflows. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is bringing geography to a whole new dimension. And we'll go through this in greater detail this morning and through the week. GIS is advancing in the sense that it's building geo-enabled systems. These are transforming specialized workflows like in urban planning or business analysis or in indoor space management. And we'll look at a new one in emergency management in a few minutes. This leverages not just GIS, but the power of GIS by integrating data and analytics and helping with visualization. Finally, GIS is advancing in the sense that hubs, started a few years ago in the city of Los Angeles, are changing the engagement pattern between organizations and citizens. It's opening up participation by all the stakeholders in a community using maps and this sort of system of engagement idea, maps and apps. But it's also, by the way, empowering citizens to do GIS themselves, leveraging community content. That just gets me so excited because it means organically communities will emerge with tools that will help more citizen participation in government, which is something we need particularly in these times. All of these trends, all of these advancements are illustrative of the amazing evolution of our tools and where it's going. Certainly many of you do GIS projects, and that's very powerful for organizing your work and doing analytics and so on. Others are transforming whole organizations. But what's starting to emerge is a kind of societal platform that allows us to understand complexity at the societal level. And again, I'll refer to the Hopkins map as an example. And it's just one of those challenges that we're going to have to address. And it's important to have a vision. This vision, I think, is this vision that I'm trying to get across is about how we can use our collective work to envision interconnecting and addressing complex problems holistically, rationally. using our best science, seeing the context, not just the content. And yet, it's important to say that technology and science, well, they're not going to get us there, but they're required. What will get us there is understanding the problems, envisioning solutions, collaborating, continuing to embrace new innovations, organizing our collective and individual work, and then a strong sense of purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your work. This is the work of GIS professionals, and it is critical. And your leadership, as we have seen again and again around the world, is essential to make that happen.